I never thought I'd find myself in this position. Not because I imagined my marriage would be perfect, but because I always believed in trust, in loyalty, in doing my part without asking for anything in return. My name is Everett. I'm 39, and I've been married to Liana for 14 years. We met in college. She was studying art history, bright, witty, magnetic. I was finishing my degree in engineering, quiet, always calculating, steady. She said she loved my grounded nature, my calm presence in chaotic situations. For years, that was us. We were steady, solid, in sync. Not loud, not flashy, just dependable. I thought that was enough. At first, everything was ordinary but good. Saturday mornings were coffee and crossword puzzles in the kitchen. Weekdays, we'd exchange short texts, little reminders, jokes that only we would laugh at. Life had its small stresses, work deadlines, bills, family obligations, but we handled them together. I never expected fireworks every night. I only wanted a quiet, steady love, the kind that builds and sustains you over time. Somewhere around year 10, I started noticing subtle changes. She'd come home later than usual, claiming meetings, events, errands. I never questioned her, assuming the busyness of life. But small things began to feel off. A glance lingered too long at her phone, texts deleted quickly, a subtle tension in the air that I couldn't name at first. I brushed it off repeatedly, telling myself I was overthinking, that I was reading too much into nothing. But it kept accumulating, like drops filling a cup until it threatened to spill. I tried to maintain normalcy. I cooked dinner more often, cleaned the house, left little notes for her to find, small gestures I thought would remind her of us. I never complained, never argued, never raised my voice. I believed love was a quiet, persistent thing, not a battle. But the more I gave, the more distant she became. Hugs became brief, eyes avoided mine, laughter faded. The bedroom, once a space of intimacy, grew cold and silent. And still I hoped. I told myself that effort was enough, that love could heal neglect if you held firm enough. Then one evening, everything came into sharp focus. I came home earlier than usual, carrying a bag of groceries and the quiet optimism of thinking I could salvage a night with her. The house was dark, curtains drawn, and I could hear muted laughter from the living room. Not the laughter I knew, not the warmth I remembered. It was a different voice, different timbre, the unmistakable sound of familiarity with someone else. My heart dropped. My hands shook. I waited, hoping it was a mistake, a joke, something that could be explained. I followed the sound quietly, and then I saw them. A man I didn't recognize, sitting too comfortably in our living room. Liana laughing as though she belonged there more than she ever did beside me. I froze. I didn't yell. I didn't storm in. My chest tightened, but I stayed calm, observing, absorbing every detail. The betrayal was complete, but I refused to act impulsively. I needed clarity more than vengeance. After a few minutes that felt like hours, she noticed me. There was a flicker of panic, a hesitation that told me everything I needed to know. I walked to the bedroom, heart pounding yet controlled, packed a bag with essentials, clothes, toiletries, my laptop, phone charger. I didn't slam drawers, I didn't shout. I merely moved with purpose, deliberate, steady. I had to leave before I lost myself in rage or despair. This was about survival, about preserving what dignity I had left. Just as I zipped the last compartment, she screamed. Not a muffled cry, not a faint plea, but a sound that cut through the shock and grief like fire. Her words were jagged, raw, desperate. "Everett, don't walk away. Please, Her voice broke midway, and I paused for a second, my hand on the door handle. I turned slightly, just enough to hear her, not enough to invite manipulation. Her eyes, wide and frantic, met mine. But this was not the Liana I knew. This was a person caught in a moment of fear and guilt, realizing the consequences of what she had done. I didn't respond immediately. I stood there, listening, feeling the weight of 14 years compress into a single moment. Then I walked out, quietly. No words, no pleading, just the sound of the door closing behind me, the finality pressing against my chest. I got into my car, started the engine, and drove without direction. The streets blurred past, yet each stoplight gave me a moment to breathe, to register that I was free from the illusion of our marriage, free from pretending everything was okay. That night, I stayed at my friend Caleb's apartment. We didn't speak much about the situation at first. There was no need for explanations, no demand for advice. He knew the weight I carried. He knew the man I was. Eventually, words came. Questions. Observations. He asked why I didn't confront her, why I didn't make a scene. I told him calmly, confrontation changes nothing. Anger changes nothing. Staying silent, walking away, that preserved the only thing worth preserving, my own integrity. Over the next few days, I processed. I realized that I had been living in a quiet erosion, a slow, invisible theft of intimacy and respect. And when I finally saw the evidence, the truth became undeniable. I had been loyal, steadfast, giving, patient, and in return, I had received deception. The realization was bitter, but it was necessary. It clarified everything, cut away years of denial like a surgeon's knife. I don't tell this story to justify revenge, or to seek pity, or to cast blame without reflection. I tell it because so many men like me silently endure the slow fading of love, hoping it will return if they hold firm enough. And sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes the only path forward is leaving calmly, deliberately, without chaos. The absence of dramatic confrontation does not diminish the betrayal. It clarifies the choice. In the days that followed, I focused on myself, my work, my friendships, my small rituals that grounded me. I didn't retaliate. I didn't plot. I didn't linger on what she had done. I allowed the silence to exist, allowed the absence of love to speak for itself. And in that quiet, I began to feel the first real breaths of freedom, the first true recognition that I was no longer complicit in a relationship that no longer valued me. It's strange how leaving doesn't feel like an ending. Not at first. It feels like a reclamation, a quiet declaration that one's dignity is not negotiable, that love cannot be forced, that betrayal has consequences not just for the guilty, but for the one who refuses to be diminished by it. I am still Everett. I am still loyal, still capable of love. But I am also someone who has learned the power of boundaries, the necessity of clarity, and the strange relief of walking away from a life that was slowly consuming me from the inside. And though I will never forget her scream, those words that cut through my final moments in that home, I understand them now as a punctuation mark, a confirmation of everything I had suspected but could not prove. They are not a cry for me. They are a cry for her, for the choices she made, for the integrity she abandoned. And as I sit here, weeks later, unpacking in a new apartment that smells faintly of hope and solitude, I realize that the weight of betrayal is heavy, but the weight of dignity regained is far heavier and far more enduring.